The farm is back again. This time a UFC card. Not really much baseball going on. I think this is not too early to do the UFC. I think it's early. It's in Abu Dhabi. Saturday morning, which is always good. Dude, I love the early
like starting your morning with like coffee.
Yeah, a little front chokes for with your coffee. I like the card a lot. There's a lot of OVs, EVs here, which is fun.
And a lot of EVs that don't wrestle. So like,
yeah, I know that's another interesting wrinkle. Yeah, guys, you have Dagestani strikers, which is fun. Obviously, I think some of those guys, even if they don't, they're not offensively gifted at wrestling. Some of these guys actually are pretty good defensively. So that's a wrinkle that we'll kind of get into. But
the best thing about breaking down this card is, we watch some film on these guys, and the most hilarious thing for us is going to be pronouncing some of these names.
Some of them are easy. Some of them are easy, but some of them are tricky. So, again, I think there's a lot of good content on this. I mean, my favorite podcast definitely is the Bookie Beatdown with Paul Shaughnessy and Cody Saptic. Those guys are great. I think Cody's like a trainer too. That's like, if you want to listen to like great UFC breakdowns, they do
them and MMA experts, like so good. Like those guys, and they live and breathe the fight game. This is kind of a tertiary sport for us. Like I enjoy watching the fights, and but I'm mostly a better and DFS player. Like, and I enjoy it, but I'm not like, it's not all I do. UFC is not all I do. So I can't deep. I don't know these guys regional tape as much as the other guys would. So,
so we're seeing like, guys that have, we're seeing like one or two regional fights, but for the most part, like Cody and those guys are like following it from like the beginning, and they know the history. So like, if you want to like a deep dive on some of the regional stuff, they do a great job. So we're not going to dive as deep as that, but we'll give our takes and kind of what we're taking some of the same data in and kind of doing our own analysis on it. Again, our premier sports are definitely football, baseball. I'll throw hockey in there too, but for the most part, it's football and baseball is the cream of the crop. So this is an interesting card for sure. We'll start at the top and kind of work our way down from the main event. With that said, anything you want to preface?
No, I think I actually have some contrarian takes on this slate. I think there's a lot of unproven talent. Besides this first fight, really, I mean, the main event, I think there's a lot of guys that we assume are going to be very good in the UFC that they just haven't shown it. And so I really want to take a lot of these lines with a grain of salt. So there's a couple of spots I might get a little tricky on. And there's a guy particularly that I've always liked, and he just has never been good, but I think he can be better than he is. And what you have to remember about this, and in all sports really, but especially in UFC, is like, just because a guy was this 2 years ago, it doesn't mean he's currently that version of himself. Like, we have no idea how much improvement he has shown, right? There's not enough, unless a guy's fighting 50 times a year, you don't have a huge sample size of what's going on, right? Like, you need, and if the fights are short, like, you just don't know. There's so much like variance in UFC in general. So like, just because a guy's been starched and maybe he's got a glass chin, and maybe that's true. Yeah. But if he wasn't able to show his skills, like, he may have shown some growth, right? Especially guys that are younger. Guys, when they get older, Cody Gibson is a good example. I don't think he's going to be any different, right? 38 years old, probably won't show any improvements, really. But like, we'll talk about it when we get there. But Wellington Turman against Islam Dulatov, like, I always thought Wellington Turman could have be something in the UFC, and now like everyone's like Dulatov's going to knock him in the first round. And probably, most likely, is going to be that, right? But dude, if Turman can snatch something up, like, he's a really good jiu-jitsu player, and it's probably not going to work out. And just honestly, based on the odds, it shouldn't work out, right? Like, Turman's a plus 650, Dulatov's a minus 1,000 favorite. So I understand that, and I'm gonna bet some spare change in that. Turman sub. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But let's start at the main event.
We have Magomed Ankalaev versus Bogdan Guskov. I don't know if I just made that shit up.
He's absolutely Jack City though.
Dude, he's Jack City, and he's like, this is a fun fight. So like, Ankalaev is so much better. He's like better pretty much everywhere across the board except for one factor. He's like, I think Guskov definitely has the power advantage. Ankalaev, to me though, so like, Ankalaev is minus 500. He's going to be the clear better. He's the A side here. He's going to win this fight. And I think the reason that like the power could be muted from Guskov is because Ankalaev is really smart in this division. He is not a guy that's going to go out and like wade into deep water, or like get into danger early. I think this is going to be, to me, like my favorite bet and my favorite take on this fight is just the over 2.5 rounds. I think Ankalaev kind of plays it safe early in this fight. This is a 5-round fight too. So I think that just benefits Ankalaev. I think he does a good job. Like, a lot of his fights, sometimes he squeaks out wins, right? Obviously, he lost to Pereira in his last fight, but he also has beat Pereira as well. To me, it's just like Ankalaev will stay out of danger early. Guskov is one advantage is that he has the power, right? We've seen some elite KOs. We saw him take out Krylov. I did see Bobby Knuckles take out Krylov. Krylov seems to be a little bit chinny these days. But Guskov does have elite power. I think that is the concern. I think if Ankalaev puts on the singlet, though, I think he just kind of handles this pretty right. He never wrestles. He never wrestles, but he does have that. He has the ability. He has the ability to wrestle.
I just want to talk about some odds because you mentioned that. So the over 2.5 is plus 114. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Ankalaev's minus 535. Like, there's no reason to lay juice on that. And Bogdan Guskov, his path to winning is like finish him in 1 or 2, or he's gonna gas. And that's kind of, I think the line is juice to the under, mostly because Bogdan in this part of the world has the optionality to gas here. So like if he paces himself, he's not really a pace fighter anyways, right? Yeah. But just Ankalaev is just he's a wily vet and he's a really smart fighter. So like he's probably gonna win this. From a DFS perspective, though, it's just a pass for me. I don't see a lot of upside here. Like Ankalaev is not a guy, and once again highlighting that he is a smart fighter. I don't think he's a guy that's gonna try to go for that quick finish, right? So he's gonna make sure like he's gonna melt Bogdan, and that's an important thing in this fight. Like he knows Bogdan is going to be the most dangerous rounds 1, rounds 2. Once he gets into that 3rd round, it's pretty much smooth sailing. So I think Ankalaev is a great, Ankalaev maybe on the cards. What's Ankalaev by decision? Let me pull that up because that's kind of interesting.
So that's tricky for me because I do feel like Guskov can't play it safe and win this fight. I just don't know. Like, I don't know how Ankalaev doesn't get him out of there in the later rounds, like round 4 or 5. Because Guskov doesn't normally go long. Like, it just feels like Guskov hasn't been in there. Like in what we've seen as fights go deeper for him, he gets gassed. Like he's gassed after like a round and a half. It just, if this goes 5, I just don't see it going 5 rounds. I do like the over 2.5 rounds. So I think Ankalaev will play it safe early. But like as the fight wears on, I just feel like Guskov was just gonna he may just give up. Ankalaev could sub him or take him down and ground and pound. As the fight goes deeper and deeper, I do think that Ankalaev will just take over. And at some point, Guskov will probably just quit just because he just hasn't been in there. 5 rounds is tough in this division, dude. Ankalaev has done it with the best of guys. I think Guskov, his win condition is blow his wad early and try to put him out in 1 or 2 rounds. And once that's how he has to fight this. He can't pace himself and try to win a decision. He has to go out early. And I think that will gas him out. So I think ultimately this is an Ankalaev win. I don't love the decision because I'm worried that Guskov will we haven't seen him last that long in 3-round fights. So it's I want to see it here. And so for me, it's an easy Ankalaev. And I would add him to minus 500 is not horrible to me.
Yeah, but what we see sometimes at these higher weight classes too, this is important. A guy's, he's trying to go 5 rounds. He shores up his cardio a little bit, and then he just paces himself. A pace Guskov has no path to winning this fight, but it has a path to an over, as you mentioned. So for me, it's just a parlay builder piece. Just put Ankalaev on a couple of your other favorite plays. Just try to get it to the minus 110 range and just be happy with that. But other than that, it's really just from a DFS angle, I'm going to be passing on this main event pretty heavily because a lot of people always want to play the main events, and I just think. If this is Ankalaev's never been a volume guy, and he's never really been a one-hitter quitter. The thing about Ankalaev, he has great striking and great wrestling, but here, he's just got to mind his P's and Q's early on, and after that, it's going to be smooth sailing. So I think Ankalaev is just a safe parlay piece, but like I said, in DraftKings, as far as DFS goes, I'm gonna fade this fight.
Yeah, I like it too because I do think Ankalaev, even a round 3, a round 4, round 5 finish is not going to be enough at his price. So I think while I do think he finishes the fight. I just don't know if he's going to score well enough unless he I don't see him taking him down. I think he's going to stay at distance, just outclass him, maybe play more of a defensive battle early in the fight and then go just kind of wear on him later. And I think he will finish him, but a late finish is not valuable in DFS. So I'm with you there. I think this is going to be a fade from DFS perspective because there'll be a lot of ownership there and you'll get some leverage on the field by kind of moving away from it. Ankalaev is the official pick. And I think he gets him out of there in my opinion, but I do like the over 2.5 there at plus money. Cool. I thought you texted me. Someone texted me. Who was it? Not important. Okay. It's someone trying to offer me.
Schefter over there, you got some inside information coming to you or what?
Guskov texted me. He said, "I'm gonna finish this fight." No, I'm just kidding. He has no idea who we are.
Finish this fight, and I'm gonna come to your house.
All right, let's get to this fight. This next fight, I actually really like. I think it'll be a fun matchup to watch. I want to turn this one on. I think the main event will be less fun to watch, right? I think just not from my perspective, it won't be a great fight. But this next fight I think will be entertaining. Is Steve Erceg versus Ramazan Temirov. That was an easy one there. That's just a warm up for later. So we do have an OV. This is an OV that does not wrestle though. And Ramazan. So what we've seen I think he has a brother. I forget his brother's name. But they're both elite strikers. And in this division, Ramazan probably has the most power, or like he's like a top 3 power guy in this division. And Usyk has been a little chinny at times. So we've seen him get hurt in a couple fights. Dude, this is tough for me. I've kind of like went back and forth here. I think I just prefer Usyk. I prefer the back class. I feel like when it gets into wars, like in some of the, in some of the interviews he's been doing, like he's a battler. Like he wants to fight often. He's always available. I think Temerov, like he doesn't fight that often, right? And like we've seen, most recently he had like a 12-month ban because of heart medication. You saw that as well. Who knows? Maybe it was a PED. Who knows what it was? But he does have power, right? Like, so I think the win condition for him is trying to get Usyk out. He could clip him. Usyk has been hit. But I feel like if this gets greasy and like get into this tit for tat battle, I think Usyk could squeak this out. This is a pick 'em fight though. So like you're kind of like, I think the win condition for Usyk is kind of drag him into deep waters. Fight. And like, I think the other thing for me is like Usyk's been more active, right? So like Temerov, we haven't seen him as much. Like, who knows if he's still on that medication? Who knows what's going on there? I just feel like, Usyk has had the longer fights. He's been in those like championship caliber fights. So I lean slightly towards Usyk here. And I think I'm going to be fading Temerov. Like Temerov does have the fancy upside. Like he could round 1 KO him here. And I think that is in his bag of tricks. But yeah, I'm worried. The 12-month layoff, the suspension, there's a lot of things working against him. And Usyk's just a dog. So a straight pick him. I'm going with Usyk here.
Yeah, kind of, I hear people talking about Temerov coming back, PD suspension, like for heart medication. They're like, oh, it shouldn't affect his power. And it probably won't affect his power, but like, man, what's the muscle I would need to work the most? It's the heart. Like, does he, first of all, he got prescribed by a doctor. Was it for performance or does he have a heart issue? Because if he has a heart issue, it's hard to back a guy there, right? So it's like, I don't feel good about it either way, but Temerov does have power in his hands. And that's the way for Usyk. We saw him get sat down by Ode Osbourne. Ode Osbourne has had a bad run in the UFC, but the guy's always had power. So I don't know if I need to count as a red flag, but yeah, this is a coin flip fight. I do think Temerov has some finishing upside. If you can get to Steve Usyk early, Steve Usyk has some height and reach on him, but he's going to wing some of these overhands. He has power in his hands. As you mentioned, I'm worried about as the fight goes on, Temerov gassing a little bit, maybe that hard medications to help with the cardio there. So we're going to find out here. I don't know, Temerov, people say he could wrestle, but I just don't think he's going to wrestle in this spot. Usyk's very good off his back with his jiu-jitsu. So like this could be a primarily stand-up fight, maybe higher volume. From a DraftKings side, maybe just split exposure on this fight, and that's probably what I'll do, kind of the 8-2, 8K price tag. So it's a coin flip for me. If there's a finish early, it's probably Temerov. If it goes to scorecards, you could probably say Usyk has a lean there. But yeah, it's a really, really tough fight for him to break down. I'm going to go ahead and bet on Temerov to get him out of there early. Hopefully he catches him with something. And in this part of the world, it's really tough for a lot of these guys that fight, in the USA to come back here, fight in Abu Dhabi. So I'm just kind of betting on what is it, an OV Russian here. But I think he's got some power. But yeah, that suspension and heart medication issue does worry me as far as his cardio goes. And we've seen Usyk go hard 5. So yeah, this is going to be a really coin flip. I don't feel good on either side, but I'm just gonna, for the sake of this, I'm just gonna pick Temerov by first round knockout. Yeah,
how I feel the fight. This is like a 29-28 either way, but I feel like Temerov wins the first round, and then Usyk, if he can, put it to him in the second and third round, I think he can win a greasy split here. Again, this part of the world, like who knows what the judges are going to do, but I do lean Usyk here. I just feel like the black class is a little much, and a big layoff is always concerning. And who knows how active he's been, and there's always that injury concern or like what happens with him after the suspension. So yeah, I think we're on opposite sides. I'm going to go Usyk by decision. That'll be my pick, and probably I'll make that as a bet as well. Cool. Let's get to another OV here. And this is another OV that does not wrestle. So we have Islam Dulatov. This is a guy that you talked about already. And then Wellington Dulatov. Sorry, I fucked that up. Again, dude, forgive us here. We don't speak the Russian lingo. Yeah, so I remember, dude, I've been watching Wellington tournament for quite a while. I feel like 5-6 years ago, like I liked him as a prospect. And Dulatov also has a brother that fights pretty regularly. Dulatov is like a German model at this point. Like he, I think the UFC wants him to be a good fighter. I think he is. He's got power. He's got like the flashy upside that like the UFC wants on the roster. And honestly, man, like while like Turman, trains with Pereira, he trains with Glover Teixeira, and like that, maybe there's a path to submission here. He likes to do like standing cage control. Maybe he can slow Islam down a bit. But I just feel like Islam's going to be too much. There's a lot of hype behind him. This is his neck of the woods. And I feel like Turman's getting too old. I'm worried that while his training camp partners are, elite by every metric, and maybe there's a game plan going in that just hey, hold on to him early, gas him out. We haven't seen him go deep in the rounds. Has he been past a round and a half? I don't think so.
No, but I'm not really worried about his gas tank as much as I'm worried about Turman's gas tank. I really think Turman's path here is he needs to get him and control him, because every time at any point in the fight when this is on the feet, he's in absolute danger of getting put out. And Turman, we've shown him, he's been so chinny, right? We've seen him get knocked out a handful of times now, and I always thought he was a little bit better jiu-jitsu player than he actually is. And Dulatov in his last fight actually showed me he has some defensive capabilities and be able to get back to his feet. So this is the thing for me. It's just taking a sprinkle on the unknown. I know Dulatov is a guy I haven't been that high on, and obviously he's a premier striker, just an absolute dog too. So I worry about the pick here. And the official pick is going to be Dulatov. But as far as DraftKings goes, Dulatov's 6'9", Turman's 6'4". If Turman can get this to the cards, he can show some value there. So and it's within the realm of possibility that Turman's worked on some of his ground control in that camp and holds Dulatov down for 1 round or 2 rounds. And if he gets up 2 rounds, he just got to hold on for dear life. But like I said, I don't think he's gonna survive. This is most likely what happens is he gasses himself trying to take him down and get starched. That's the most likely outcome here. So Dulatov is going to be the official pick, but yeah, don't be surprised if I'm heavy on Turman and DraftKings, just with some contingent upside. And while they're dry early on, maybe he grabs something. You never see armbar here, but he's kind of got a sick armbar, so he's not going to sub him with an armbar. But maybe he breaks his arm. That'd be sick, as a first round sub. And that's probably the bet. Spring is not even a Turman money line. It's just if Turman wins, it's probably by sub, probably in the first round. So I'm going to bet Turman sub first round, and that's the play on this fight. But I'm just going to pick Turman. I'm going to pick Dulatov because I think he's going to win here.
Yeah, for me, it's easy. Dulatov by knockout. I think he puts up 140, 160 in the spot on DraftKings. I think this is for me, it's Turman has showed some toughness. Let me just go. It's insane. So this is why I think it's gonna happen. I don't think Dulatov will go to the ground with him. So I think he could knock him. I think he could have multiple knockdowns in the first round. And if Turman shows a little toughness, I want some toughness out of Turman early, because I think from a DFS perspective,
if Turman gets knocked down, he's getting knocked out. And in this weight class, you don't see guys get knocked down and get back up multiple times.
Yeah.
To 140 to 160, you need to have wrestling. If Dulatov knocks him down, he's knocking him out. And that's probably 110 points. Yeah,
I think Dulatov pieces him up. But yeah, to your point, that is a thing with DFS. It's different, right? I do think he knocks him out. I think it's a KO. I'll bet him KO round 1, KO round 2. That's what I'll be betting. But I like him line DFS. I think the 99 price tag.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't disagree more. And I'm very confident in saying this. I will not play a single share of Dulatov from DraftKings this week as far as DFS goes. Not one share. And I'm not scared one bit that he's gonna bury me. And it's for that simple fact. Turman's shown to have no chin. If he gets clipped, he's down and it's over. Yeah. And unless that's in the first 60 seconds, it's gonna be sub 120 points. And that's just not enough at that price tag. There's other guys that I think present a lot more upside that are cheaper than him. Just because his path to winning is absolutely chinning him, but there's no way he's wrestling in this spot. Yeah. And the volume won't be enough, in my opinion, to score that 140, 160 you mentioned. That's so hard to get to in a 3-round fight.
So for me though, I don't think it's a quick win bonus I'm looking for. That would be nice because that's the 120, 130 range. A knockdown and a win in 60 seconds, which is in the path to victory, right? We're talking about DFS scoring here. But there's also a path that he just beats the brakes off of him for the entirety of the first round on the feet. Hold on, let's say 1 or 2 knockdowns and he puts up 60 strikes. He could just go. He could just wear on him and then get him out of there in the first round.
I guarantee, I will stake hard-earned dollars to this, that if he 60 strikes and 2 knockdowns, he's out way before that. Turman's not going to be able to be knocked down twice. This is not a flyweight fight. These guys, they hit it too hard in this weight class. He's going out cold. So for me in this spot, Turman's the guy sub 1 that's by all metrics, by all film tape and statistics, he should never win this fight. But yeah, in this part of the world, I kind of like the wrestling a little bit, and I think if he grabs him while he's dry and can cinch something up, that's his best chance. And he's going to put all this might into it and potentially gas himself out. But his only way to win this fight is simply just first on sub. Dulatov, the official pick, playing 0 of Dulatov and DraftKings. You're going to see me with a heavy share of Turman and DraftKings, though.
Yeah, we'll be split there. So for me, it's Dulatov heavy and DraftKings. I just want to, I want the 100+ score that he'll put up. Maybe it's enough, maybe it's not. Let's get to another interesting fight. We have Magomed Ankalaev, John Pork. John Pork. Yeah, so that I wanted to say his name John. He's colloquially known as John Pork. And then Damian Zapecki. this is actually a really good fight. Like, and the age definitely. So the younger fighter is Sepeki. Sepeki's actually really, like, the regional tape is good. Like, his last few fights are really good. I think Pork has the hype. He's from this part of the world. He's a brother of the Nurmagomedovs. Not really a brother, but like, he's in that camp. He's a striker though. He's not a wrestler. He's good defensively, right? Because he rolls with those guys constantly. So like, he has the wrestling, like, defensive background. But man, I think Sepeki, like, has looked solid on the feet. Like, this is not an easy fight. I think the number, to me, like, I like the number on Sepeki a lot. I think he's like plus 200, plus 220, Dylan. I think they're giving a little too much love to John Pork here. John Pork's an elite striker. I do think this could be a tit for tat battle though. And like, to me, I just want to take the value in Sepeki. And like, I think there is a path, right? Like, I don't think he's gonna take him down, but he does have some sneaky submission skills too. So like, if he could drag him out, he could do late, round 2 sub, round 3 sub. Round 3 sub is like something I looked at betting for Sepeki. Maybe wear him out. He's, John Pork's an older fighter. Obviously he could have cardio, but I think there could be some issues the longer this fight goes. And John Pork is he's a Tasmanian devil. Like, he's gonna go out, he's gonna try to put him away. But if Sepeki can last early, I think he could win this fight. This could be like a 29-28 decision or like a late sub for Sepeki. So Zepeki's the official pick. John Pork is a fun fighter though, and I think he's a guy that's gonna fight for your money. So wouldn't hate that pick either. But I'm leaning the Zepeki side.
Yeah, this is another OV Russian that's not going to wrestle here. Yeah. Not an OV, just like, I don't know. He's not Russian, but you know what I mean? So I think
Dagestani. What's the difference between a Dagestani? Like, so what's a Dagestani?
Dagestani is just a type of Russian, really, right?
That's what I thought. Like, it's like the Caucasus Mountains, right?
Dagestani is just like the Russians that shave their mustache. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like, listen, I think Sepeki here as a dog is a great play. And the official pick is actually going to be John Pork, but like, I think in this spot, Zepeki's price is too wide. So I'm going to bet the number and not so much the fight. I think Sepeki undefeated. Another guy that's Polish, mini hammer, we'll call him that, but he has slapping shots, no strong power. Yeah. So I actually think this is a lean to the over. The over 1.5 is juiced to minus 230. So, people are suspecting that as well. But I think this fight could go the distance, and both guys and O's got to go here. So for me, I think Sepeki is a great bet at that number. But overall, I think the number right now is plus 240. So there's just something about him that screams like this could be a very competitive fight, and it's not lined as such. It's lined as this guy is a huge prospect. We see this all the time in the UFC. These guys come up and just not show out. And I just don't know where he separates. I don't know where Zanikov can separate in this fight. On the feet, it's going to be really competitive, and I think that's the majority of the fight is going to take place on the feet. So this could easily be another 29-28 decision. Yeah, but I think Sepeki has some, small upside here, especially in DraftKings, right? The mid 7Ks. We see Zanikov price in the high 8s, high 9s, and the low 9s. I got to check the exact price tag. But for me, I'm not going to be playing Zanikov in DraftKings. Another Sepeki play. I'm going to be on quite a bit of my DFS teams as well. So Sepeki, let's go ahead and say Zanikov official pick. Once again, on DraftKings, I'm going to go ahead and side with Sepeki for DFS.
Interesting. Yeah. So for me, I think you're split, but I'm like Sepeki I like the bet. I like the win bet there at plus money. And then I like him in DFS quite a bit. So, similar boats somewhat. So let's move that. And that's going to be a fun fight. I want to watch that fight. That'll be really interesting to watch. I do think there'll be more ownership than need be on Magomed, just because I feel like he comes out of the Khabib camp, right? Like, people like to play those guys. But I think if you pay attention to the tape, it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. Next, we have a heavyweight fight. I know you don't love these type of fights. It's somewhat of a low-level heavyweight fight. It's Rizvan Kunaev, another EV versus Tyrell Fortune. Tyrell Fortune looked pretty good against Marcin Tybura. I think Tybura's kind of washed at this point. I really like Kunaev here. I think Kunaev just kind of handles Fortune. I really hope that Kunaev can. I think this is a heavyweight fight that I think goes to decision. I don't know what. Can you pull up the odds? And that this is an over.
Over 2.5 is actually juice. So the over 2.5 is minus 154.
Yeah. So to me, that this screams like stay away from in DFS. Like, I think I'm going to avoid this. I think they're probably. What is the pricing? They're like 7.
Yeah, Kunaev is minus 340 to win. Tyrell Fortune is plus 270. Kunaev and DraftKings. I'll pull this up and I'll talk a little bit why I'm pulling this up. There's another fight. I think Kunaev's got Fortune covered everywhere. He didn't impress me much in the regional scene. Fortune's getting a little bit older. We don't, it doesn't matter as much in heavyweights, but nothing shows me that he can. I think Kunaev's got him covered everywhere. Can wrestle, can strike, and Fortune does have a background in wrestling, but none of that EV wrestling here. So
Kunaev to me is like my favorite. He's like one of my favorite bets. Like, you're not getting a ton of value, but I think he's at
9K in DraftKings, and we've seen him fight 2 times in the UFC so far. Blades and Almeida. Handled Almeida pretty well, but lost to Blades in a contentious decision there. So, but both of those guys are far better than Tyrell Fortune. So
yeah, I love Kanaev here. I think I like the bet too. I think add him to every parlay this week. I think he kind of I think this is like a 30-27 fight in my opinion. I think he stays out of trouble. You don't have much power from either guy. I don't think either guy has like the ability or really wants to go the route of like trying to knock the guy. I mean, obviously they want to knock each other out, but like this is not one of those type of fights. I feel like Kanaev just kind of handles them, controls the fight, and wins pretty much. I think he wins at least 2 of the 3 rounds, but I think he could win all 3 here. Anything else to add, sir?
No, that's it. It's a pretty easy parlay piece. You could go Kunaev, and Magomed Ankalaev. 2 pieces might get you to -189. Get 1 more piece in that, and you're feeling good plus money range. So that's a good. Those 2 guys are great parlay piece starters.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next fight. This is actually another fight I really like too. So we have Ishmael. Why I say that? Ishmael Bonfim. This is, I guess he was at one point the good Bonfim. Maybe he's the bad Bonfim now. Versus Axel Sola. I like Bonfim. I think he's like super athletic. I like what I've seen on tape from him. Obviously, he's had some easier matchups, and and then obviously he's handled those well. But yeah, I think I like what I've seen out of him. I think he's a good striker. I think he's also like he's just a better, cleaner kickboxer too. So I don't know. I lean to the Bonfim side. I think I don't know at this weight class if has the ability to put Solo away. And I don't know if you could pull up like what the over under is for this fight, but I think this is another decision fight. From a DFS perspective, I don't really like either guy. I don't envision like a knockout here, but I do like Bonfim as a bet, and he's the clear pick for me.
Interesting. Yeah, I couldn't disagree more with anything you just said there. So yeah, it's juice to the under 2.5 -140. But yeah, this is 100% smash DraftKings play for me. Both sides are going to be valuable, and this is why. Ishmael either finishes early or gets finished late, and it's pretty cut and dry like that. Axel Sola is a -205. What we saw versus Mason Jones is my boy. That was a dog fight. That was an amazing fight. Sola showed so much heart. And the one thing Bonfim does not have is heart. Got no heart. Yeah. He will quit there. So like, he could get to him early, and that's a real potentiality here because Sola, he's shown to have some durability, but Bonfim is very dangerous with all those weapons early on. Could sub, can knock him out. But if this gets deep, Solo's going to wear on him, and he's going to throw up some volume too. So like, this is a fight. It's 100% playing DraftKings for me, both sides. Originally I was like, I'm just going to jam Sola, but I think Bonfim has some finishing upside early on. But yeah, Bonfim has no heart. I think this is a fight that definitely goes under 2.5. So if you want to parlay that, that's fine. But yeah, Bonfim has just shown he's not been able to go 3 hard. So and this is a thing. Could he go 3? Sure, but this is going to be 3 hard rounds, and there's no way he makes it in this. Like, Solo's going to come after him, especially if he loses round 1. So, like, what I saw for Mason Jones, even in a loss, really encouraged me. So, this is a fight I'm absolute jamming. If you wanted my official pick, it's going to be Sola, but I'm happy to split exposure in DraftKings. I think this is a must play.
All right, okay. So maybe I'm switching, not my pick, but maybe I will play some Bonfim. I think Bonfim he is the cleanest striker for sure. I think to your point, the heart lies with Sola, but I do think Bonfim is it depends on if we get a motivated Bonfim, like he should be the favorite in this fight. He's an underdog. The plus 170, like give me Bonfim definitely as a bet. And so I will take the cheap price on DraftKings too. So
I don't know how you feel so confident on Bonfim when you see what he's done in the UFC is he's just quit, and he has clean strikes, and BSD kind of wrote the roadmap for him where like he just weared on him. He gave him a couple body kicks, and Bonfim was like, check please.
Yeah, but BFD is that type of fighter too. So like
Sola is kind of a mini. He's not but what we saw versus Mason Jones, he's gonna walk you down. He's gonna make this a dogfight. Yeah, maybe Bonfim is technically cleaner, but like he won't be able to be technical in this fight. Sola's gonna get in this fight face and push him, and because of that, Sola could run into something, get knocked out. But if this fight goes long, it's finishing. I mean, it's Sola all day. It's Sola on the cards, a Sola late finish. But if it's an early finish, maybe Bonfim catches him with something. So for me in this fight, it's absolutely this fight's gonna finish. Pick your side however you want. Bonfim is the dog, so I understand you want to take the dog shot there. But Sola is no slouch. And what we saw in the regional scene is he's good. He's a good fighter. And just really hasn't put it all together. But what he showed against Mason Jones, who I think is a very quality guy, really impressed me. So I think, and it's hard to take things out of a loss, but sometimes when guys get into wars, I want to make sure like, okay, I always like like when I saw that war with Mason Jones, I was like, bookmark Axel Sola. He's a guy I'm going to follow and lay some coin on later on. So I don't really want to bet him in this spot. It might be more of a live bet. You see what Bonfim probably wins the first round. If he doesn't finish him, you're going to see Sola maybe get plus money going into the second round, and that's where I'm going to hammer him there. So for me, this is 100% playing DraftKings. I think it finishes one way or the other.
I like it. I think it's a good call. I think maybe do just split exposure here, but play this fight 100% because I do think there will be a lot of action And yeah, this could be like a first round finish for Bonfim. And I think that's an interesting bet too. And then maybe just like sprinkle like a Sola round 2, round 3 KO. That'd be a fun way to bet this card.
It's tough because you could say Bonfim by KO or sub, but like he has some jiu-jitsu. So like I don't want to say like he just finishes him by KO. So it could be like sub or KO in the first. But like I said, once Axel Sola like puts the pressure on him. We've seen Bonfim melt enough times that it's in the back of his head. Like he's shown us he has some quit in him, doesn't have the best gas tank, and he's constantly like on the verge of missing weight in this weight class. So he's not very big either. So for me, it's just like, man, Sola probably melts him late. And if I'm going 60-40 in DraftKings, it's probably 60 Sola, 60% that is.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I think we're split there. I do think I'll take Bonfim at the plus money. Cool. Let's get to the next fight. We have Walter Walker versus Thomas Peterson. I don't know. I forget. Maybe we'd have to ask him how he pronounces his last name. For those that you have been following Walter Walker, he's a guy that constantly goes for the heel hook. I think he's finished it in 3 straight fights. I think 3 or 4 straight fights. He's been 4 straight by heel hook. And he wears like I don't know if you've seen this. He wears the chain with the foot on it, which is just such a fun. He's kind of like who was the guy, the Scottish guy? Paul Craig. Well, I don't know why I was thinking. Dude, Paul Casey popped in my mind, the golfer Paul Casey. Remember, he's on Live. He still plays golf, but I don't know why I was thinking about Paul Casey. You know why? Doing quick segue, because he gets paid like $20 million to like barely play any tournaments. I used to love him as a golfer too. On the PGA
it's done this year. It's in its death rattle for sure. It won't survive this year. But listen, Walter's fine. Okay.
Yeah, so go ahead. Well, to me, it's like I lean the plus money at Thomas Peterson. This is like from a DFS side. I don't really like it. I do leave Thomas Peterson though as an underdog. I just feel like Walter definitely has the path to submission. Like he's just clearly leagues above. But I think like obviously if you're Thomas Peterson, like you're game planning for that, and so like you're gonna go in with the intention of kind of avoiding those situations. The longer he can last in the fight, the slipperier it gets, the less likely Walter is gonna be able to grab a leg. So yeah, I think I'm going to lean Peterson here. I don't love it from a DFS angle, so I think Peterson will be the pick, but I'm not going to be heavily exposed to this in DFS.
Yeah, if you took away, the leg lock here, you'd probably it's an even money fight, right? Like that Walter's not very good on the feet. Maybe he's shown improvement here, but Peterson, all he's training in camp is just protect his heel. So like maybe it doesn't come to fruition here. This is just another ugly heavyweight fight. Yeah, if it's not sub early for Walter, this could get 3-round decision, greasy all over it. Like there's no way Peterson is just a pillow fisted heavyweight, so there's no way he finishes him here. But it's just another fight I just want to avoid.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be back, you're asking for official pick. I'm just gonna pick Walker probably by heel hook, right? But like I just don't think that's going to come to. It's not 5 times in a row would be nuts, and we know like once that's enough on tape, like eventually someone's going to avoid it. And this just speaks to the heavyweight division, just how middling it is. Like none of these guys are bad. So and Pedersen's no different, right? So the thing with Walter, he's heel hooked way better guys than Pedersen, but Pedersen does have some wrestling background, so there's a chance he can keep us on the feet and have it more competitive. But yeah, I'm totally unsure about it. So I'm happy to watch and see what happens here. But it's just going to be a pass for me. If you wanted to sprinkle money on the dogs, sounds like you are. That's fine. For me, I'm just betting overs. I'm going to bet an over here. I'm going to see what the overs lined up because, with these early
it's over 1.5 is 166. So, yeah, I don't hate that either. I think Thomas Peterson tries to stay out of trouble. And I think he does enough to win this fight. This is like a 29-28 heavyweight fight. It gets kind of.
That's the thing. People talk about Pedersen's wrestling, that's fine, but like ultimately, he just wants to stay on the feet here. He wants to play this from range best he can.
Yeah.
Right? Like
he doesn't want to engage. He's going to avoid the clinch here. Walter's going to dive at the leg at some point, and anybody holding a Peterson dig is like, don't do it. It's like watching the Paul Craig fight. It's like, oh, does he have the arm? And then he
this
just
is a perfect case where like Pedersen avoids the leg and he just like gets his legs back and gets his neck snatched up. Like it's just like a perfect case for that. But for me, like from a DFS angle, like I said, where I play most of my dollars in MMA, it's going to be a pass fight. Actually, I'm just not playing either side. I tell you all the time, like people always value the heavyweight fights a little bit more than I think they should. So I always try to go underweight. And that's another fight I'm going to be heavily underweight on DraftKings.
Yeah, dude, submission games are always fun. Quick segue. Dude, that Paddy Pimblett submission, like the Peruvian necktie that he did to BSD, was kind of nasty. Like BSD also has horrible game plan. Like you dive in, and dude, Paddy's submission skills are underrated. Like he has, there's something to be desired in the wrestling department. He's not like a great wrestler, but like, dude, when he gets you tied up, dude, he can lock someone up pretty quick. And I think he's getting better too. Paddy could be champ one day. I mean, he went toe to toe with Justin Gaethje. I think there's some. I like him, man. And obviously the hype's behind him too, but like he's just a fun fighter to watch to me.
I like him, and him versus Topuria would be a huge fight.
Such a good fight. And it's a struggle for Topuria too, because it's like Patty's better on the ground. I think if the fight, if Patty can weather the storm, Patty will get touched up on the feet a little bit though. Topuria's just cleaner striker, and Patty's got decent hands, but like he's just clearly outclassed. He'll be not clearly outclassed, but like he'll have his moments. But Patty's path to victory is kind of like making it greasy, getting on his back, holding him down, making
I
him
love Patty, but I think it's the worst possible time for Patty to face Topuria. I kind of want one more fight, and the reason being because like Topuria hungry coming out, he already hates Patty. Yeah, we can see Skaz get knocked out, and I'm worried about that because I love Patty and just he's so fun for the sport, and he's just a likable guy. Topuria is kind of opposite, kind of like pretty boy, unlikable. Where Patty's just kind of got that silly haircut, and he's a dog, and I like that about him, and he could show absolutely have some jiu-jitsu in that fight, but if Topuria lays hands on him, he's in a world of hurt. We just seen Patty striking be a little bit of an issue, and we saw him go 5 hard with Gaethje, and that's fine. But yeah, nonetheless, I really hope there's other fights before that happens.
Yeah, I want that. That'll be fun if like each guy gets another fight, and then maybe like it's like tough. You'd almost rather it be a title fight, but it may end up being on the card. Like Justin Gaethje gets I don't know who would even fight Gaethje at this point, but
unfortunately, I don't think my favorite fighter of all time is even really interested in fighting.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah, I heard about that.
I would love Gaethje fighting
Volkov. I've heard that. Have you heard? I've heard rumblings of that. So maybe
I haven't heard it, but I would love so much.
Have you not? So it's interesting you say that because I did see the Twitter sphere X talk about that. Like that could be the next fight for Justin Gaethje, and that would be a fun fight for Volk. And then maybe you give Volk a rematch against Topuria too. I don't know. I think Volk could beat Topuria. Obviously, Topuria's got hands, but I think Volk's almost he's more of a chef than he is a fighter these days, and he loves that.
One of my favorite. He's probably my favorite fighter of all time. And,
100%.
People are going to say he's not the best because he's lost his mind. But I think pound for pound, he's one of the best fighters of all time. Easily top 5 for me. And just like he's so well-rounded. And I think he poses a lot of problems. Like obviously Gaethje get to him and it's so much bigger than he is. But man, I just love Volk. And the way he prepares is great. And listen, when he sat down Makhachev in round 5 and he's like, even God Kings bleed. Like, dude, it was the sickest. And I really thought he won that fight. But maybe that's just a bias in me wanting him to take out the giant there. But man, what a good fight. And obviously he got head kicked into the ether after that. But I love Volk. And I think Volk had a decent chance to beat Topuria if he didn't get caught. And that's the problem. Yeah. Topuria has so much power and Volk is getting older. So if that fight ever happens, I would love to back, because I think if Volk fights Gaethje, he probably goes in around the plus 200 range as an underdog. So yeah, it's a fight I'd definitely be backing Volkan, but that's just for my fandom of him. Yeah, but let's move on to the next fight.
Yeah, so let's go to Dustin Jacoby. He is fighting. I think did they switch fighters? No, they didn't. Dustin Jacoby versus Mohammed Saeed. Yeah, to me, this is like I'm going to pick Dustin Jacoby. I think he's just a veteran. Like he's been in wars. We've seen it in the past. I think he's just a little bit cleaner everywhere. Yeah, so for me at minus 175, I think I'm just going to lean to Dustin Jacoby. I'm torn. Like I think the price is fair on DraftKings. What is like mid-8 still in Dustin Jacoby?
Yeah, but he's a decent sized favorite and rightfully so. Let me pull up his price. We talk about.
Yeah, so to me, it's just like I think he's just the better kickboxer, cleaner striker. I haven't seen enough from Saeed to be like confident at the underdog price. So yeah, to me, it's gonna be a Dustin Jacoby official pick, and I think I will sprinkle him in DFS, and I won't be touching Saeed.
Yeah, Dustin Jacoby is 8'7", which is a fine price tag. And yeah, as a kickboxer, he's one of the best in the world. We've seen his age really doesn't matter. He's coming in his own. I mean, we know he's a phenomenal kickboxer, and it looks like Saeed. We don't have much on him because this is kind of his first fight in the UFC here, but it looks like another kickboxer. And in the kickboxing fight, I'm just gonna always value Dustin Jacoby. So it's easily him or pass in this fight. If you want to add him as a parlay piece, I think that's fine. They're just betting the unknown. Is Saeed any good? He's potentially pretty good, right? But they're just unknown, and there's not a lot of film on him. Funny enough, I think Saeed did lose to Kunaev on the regional scene way back when, maybe in an amateur fight, which is funny because that's a much heavier man. So interesting enough, I was looking through the tape. I was like, did he lose to Kunaev? And I went, yeah, like sure enough, like one of his first amateur fights lost there. And that doesn't matter in this fight to me. It's just like, hey, two kickboxers going at it. I'm always going to favor Dustin Jacoby. He's got hands. And we saw in his last few fights really coming his own, like eliminating guys like Julius Walker, who I thought maybe he's not as good as I thought he was. But yeah, Dustin Jacoby's the pick here. But I think this is mostly going to stay on the feet. Maybe Jacoby finishes him. But I think Jacoby's levels are actually shown against guys that are not, proficient strikers and guys that want to try to wrestle him because he's just good at keeping the fight on the feet. Against another kickboxer, it could be more competitive and more point fighty. So I just don't know if this fight's going to finish. Maybe a bet to the over, maybe just Dustin Jacoby on the cards. But either way, I think Jacoby's a fine parlay piece this week.
Yeah, I like it. All right, let's get this next fight is really interesting, and I think we may be split on this. I think you may have led with that before we talked about it, but we have Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Sam Patterson. I love Sam Patterson. The one thing I can't get out of my mind is that when he fought Ashmoose, remember he's like, dude, Ashmoose is like so much smaller than him, and he just like climbs the tree and puts him out. I do think Sam Patterson has improved quite a bit since then. I love Sam Patterson here. I think he finishes him quickly. I think he finishes inside the first round. Ponzinibbio in his prime, this would be an absolute war. Ponzinibbio is older. Is he almost 40 now? I think he's like 39, almost 40. Sam Patterson is like coming. I think he's coming into his own. Like he has all the skills to be like a top 5 contender, in my opinion.
Top 5 is ambitious. Top 10 maybe, but
this is why, because while we know that the striking is elite, I think the grappling has improved quite a bit. And the length is always an event. I think that type of build is really valuable in this division. So I'm leaning heavily into Sam Patterson. I think he'll be a core play for me in DFS. And I think he puts him out early. I do think this fight finishes though. So like as an underdog price, I don't hate Ponzinibbio as like a sprinkle. Like, does he reach back? Does he take, go back a decade and find the form? He hasn't fought in a while either, so that's another concern. But I do think this will be a fun fight to watch. But I think it'll be fireworks, and I think it'll finish pretty early. Sam Patterson is the pick, and I think DFS wise, I'm going to play Sam Patterson. I will have Ponzinibbio because I think we've seen Sam Patterson get chinned before. But yeah, I think this is going to be a fun fight to watch.
Yeah, Sam Patterson got chinned down a weight class in a weight class he didn't belong in. He cut too much weight. And I say this all the time, and everyone knows this, right? When you cut too much weight, your chin goes. Yeah. And now at this higher weight class, he's going to be in better shape, as he always has been. The MVP fight was horrible, right? Point fighting. But both those guys, they train together. What'd you expect, right? Yeah. Sam Patterson does have some wrestling. I'm surprised he didn't wrestle in the MVP fight. But in this fight, I think he's got him pretty much covered everywhere. And I actually disagree. I think this could actually go the distance. And mostly I think Sam Patterson wants to stay out of trouble, especially early. And that's when Ponzinibbio is going to be the most dangerous there, is just on the feet early. But Sam Patterson has the length to just kind of keep him at bay. But I think he has this fight covered however he wants it. He could potentially finish if he goes for it early. I kind of like the sub call. Like, people think he's going to start him, and he potentially could, but he could definitely sub Ponzinibbio here early, round 1-1-2. That would be fine. But for me in DraftKings, another pass. I'm not going to be playing Ponzinibbio. I think there's no chance Ponzinibbio wins this fight. I think, at his age, Patterson's just going to be quicker, cleaner on the feet, as long as he stays out of danger. And like you said, you mentioned Ashmoose, and I watched that fight, and he got horribly chinned. But, like, when you go down a weight class, it always affects that chin. I think we haven't seen him tested in the same way. So if Ponzinibbio puts one on the button, maybe we can see how his chin holds up. But I just don't think the chin is going to be as much of an issue in the correct weight class here. So, yeah, Sam Patterson is a fine parlay piece. I think he wins however you want it here. But I think this fight could actually underwhelm a DFS. So Patterson's going to be the pick, and zero Ponzinibbio on the card in DraftKings. I think Sam Patterson might be a sprinkle, but I'm gonna live in a different range.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if you like the over, the over 1.5 is plus money. So like, if you think the fight goes deep, like take that. But I think this fight finishes early. I think he doesn't get outside the first round. So I would even take the under 1.5 at minus 130. I would even with that juice to the under, I think I would still lean that direction. But yeah, I think Sam Patterson will be a core piece for me. He's expensive, but I think he's worth the price. Let's get to another fight that's pretty interesting. And there's a guy I really like here, and he's a dog, but it's Nurullo Ankalaev versus Mike Davis. Mike Davis, team all body. Last time we saw him in Abu Dhabi, right? Paint gate. He said he wasn't feeling. Faraz Ayam is a good, like, he's actually been pretty good lately, but like he didn't look like himself. Mike Davis is a complete fighter. I think to me at plus 190. I think it's the money's coming in on Ankalaev too. I really like Mike Davis here. I think the class Mike Davis he's getting older, right? So like maybe Mike Davis is like declining, and maybe we've seen some of that in his recent fights, and I don't know how much I love it in DFS. This does scream like a 29-28 decision, but I lean towards Mike Davis. I think he gets this done. I think as an underdog, if you want to sprinkle him in, I don't know how valuable in DFS this will be, but I do lean Mike Davis heavily.
All underdogs are valuable in DraftKings as far as DFS goes, and I like Mike Davis here for the same reason. I think apples to apples, this is a pretty even money fight. But if we look up round 1 and Mike Davis is playing patty cake from his back, you're in trouble. Like, same thing happened to Faraz Ayam, and Faraz Ayam, had Mike Davis on his back. Mike Davis wasn't even trying to get up, which didn't really make much sense to me. I think Mike Davis is definitely better on the feet here. He's going to have to keep Ankalaev off of him, and we see this time and time again when these wrestlers can't get takedowns. I think Mike Davis could give him absolute problems on the feet. So
yeah.
And Mike Davis has some offensive wrestling himself. Won't wrestle here, and he should not wrestle here. But yeah, I think this is a fight that's going to be far more competitive than the line suggests. So I'm going to officially pick Mike Davis as well. It's just a bet on Ankalaev looking very average. I know he's been a high prospect, a guy people ought to like. Fights out of the Khabib camp, right? I think he fights out of the Khabib camp as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I don't. There's some screams underdog here, and Mike Davis has a lot of talent. I think Fares Zayem's, even if Mike Davis is kind of like paint gay, whatever, it's still a tough matchup. Fares Zayem is really coming to his own. He's an excellent fighter.
So he's a great striker too. He's
I don't put a lot of stock in that loss, even though, he said he wasn't feeling it. I think Mike Davis is very talented. So I think just betting on the talent, betting on the underdog price tag, that's the only reason I'm doing it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ankalaev gets him down a couple of times and just negates it. If Mike Davis tries to play jiu-jitsu off his back, it's just not going to be a good spot here. So the official pick is going to be Mike Davis. It's just mostly as an underdog, and I like Mike Davis a whole lot as a fighter. So I'm hoping he comes through in better shape. Hope he gets a good locker room selection here. But I think he's going to be fine to make this at least a very competitive fight. I don't think it's a clean sweep. I don't think anyone gets finished in this fight. Both guys are pretty durable. So I actually think if there's a finish in this fight, I think it's actually Mike Davis catching him on the feet here with something. But I think if it's a clean decision, 30-27, it's probably, Temirov taking him down and just smothering him.
Temirov, not Temirov.
Ankalaev. All the Aliev. But I think that's the most likely scenario. Just he takes him down. We saw Mike Davis struggle with that for his Zayem, and although the paint game, but if he comes in with the game plan of not trying to get back up, won't be good here. I think you need to try gas Ankalaev pretty quick here and see push him to deep water and see what happens on the feet. But hopefully Mike Davis can keep this stand up and make it competitive.
One of my favorite long shot bets on the card is like Mike Davis win by split decision. I think this is one of those fights that, like, in this part of the world in Abu Dhabi, there could be it could be a little bit of like greasiness, like, 1.5, what I think it could go either way. And I think it's going to be 29-28 and it could be split on some judges. So yeah, Mike Davis official pick. I think a fun sprinkle is a Mike Davis split decision prop. Let's get to another fight. This fight will, in my opinion, will definitely finish is Brenton Ribeiro versus Magomed Ankalaev. Don't help me out here, dude. Tuchalov.
No,
Tuchalov. There we go. See, I knew I just had to call in the back, phone a friend here. Tuchalov to me is like such a good DFS play. He's expensive. You're going to pay for it, but I think he puts him away early. I think this could be like a 60-second finish. And Brenton just has, I don't believe in any of his skills. I think he went, like, Magomed wins clearly here. I think it just depends on how he finishes. Like, from a DFS perspective, you'd prefer a first round finish just from a point. Yeah, to me, like, for him to be valuable at that price, you want a first round finish. But I think he does get the job done, and it's gonna be him. And what's the guy that we talked about, the German fighter? Dulatov. It'd be dope between those two guys and the number prioritized up top. But I really like Magomed here.
Yeah, dude, Tukalov's a giga jam here, and that's the reason I'm not playing Dulatov. I think Tukalov has him covered, and he's the type of fighter I like. I think, as I mentioned, Turman really wants to grab a hold of him and get him down. I think in this fight, Tukalov is going to have him covered at 9-7. He's going to be my priority spend, right? We look at Ankalaev, we look at Sam Patterson, we look at Dulatov up there. Tukalov is the guy I want to put all my eggs in that basket. So I think, and he's another guy that's going to come after you. He's not going to sit and wait. He's going to try to put you out early. And I think Ribeiro has a decent ground game, but he doesn't want to be on the bottom here. So I think this is a fight. Yeah, definitely going to prioritize in DraftKings. I think Ribeiro has no shot in this fight. So Tukalov all day, pretty easy click for me.
Yeah. An agreement there. Let's get to another fight that I don't think will be particularly close. We have Cody Gibson, who, like, at one point I liked him as a dog because he'll still fight for your money, man. He's just getting older, and like I think he's got some wrestling chops, but I feel like, dude, Abdul Hussein is just he's a good prospect too. I think Hussein could just, dude, this is another fight to me. Like, if he goes the takedown path, Abdul Hussein could just like beat him up. So to me, it's like, obviously Abdul Hussein, I think he easily wins this fight. Gibson's just getting too old. I don't think like they're just kind of throwing him in here against a prospect. It's weird that this is kind of like the fight that's kicking off the card.
There's one other fight. I think they moved the which fights earlier. Let me check.
Okay, maybe it's not. I'm seeing that this is the first fight, so maybe I'm wrong. But I think it's Cody Gibson, Abdul Hussein, Dylan is the first fight. But I think Hussein is a great DFS play again. I think because he's a guy that could score. I mean, he could do a lot of different things. He doesn't throw too many strikes, but I do think he'll mix in the grappling and the wrestling. And he's an elite, still an elite prospect. This fight does feel like it could go to a decision, which would be like a disadvantage at that price in DFS. But to me, it's just Hussein all day. Cody Gibson's past his prime, and like even in his prime wasn't a a great fighter. He can lean into the wrestling at times, but I don't think he even has the advantage here in that department. So Abdul Hussein,
maybe within 30 seconds he might, but Hussein is a beast. He's gonna win this fight. I think he's got Gibson covered everywhere. The age doesn't help Gibson. We saw Gibson get one punch KO'd by Richie Long last fight. That's not good. And Hussein has some hands and he can wrestle. So this is another smash play for me on DraftKings. It's gonna be all over him on DraftKings for DFS. But yeah, another fight where I won't even sprinkle Gibson. I think Hussein's got him covered in this part of the world. It's just gonna be a one-way traffic here. So Hussein all day. If you want to add him to the parlay, I feel very comfortable he's going to win this spot. Gibson has shown, like, against Blackshear, especially early, he was putting hands on him. But other than that, I think Hussein's pretty durable. And if he weathers any bit of storm Gibson has, he's going to throw his own back and just melt him. So Hussein, pretty easy click for me in this fight.
When you look at the number, to me, Hussein is like the same, you're paying the same price as you are for Ankalaev. And I just feel like Hussein loses like a lot less often than Ankalaev does against Guskov. So I think they're similar, but I think, I really do like Hussein here. That's it, man. I don't think there's any other fights.
Yeah, I think we skipped a fight, and that's fine. It's the two hardest names to pronounce, which is fine. But we have Abukar Vagiev versus is it Saeed Isgakmayev? Isgakmayev?
Oh, you're right. Abukar. Yeah, I think I skipped it because of the horrible names. Okay. Well, give it to me then. What are you thinking in this fight then? Abukar.
This is really tough. This is really tough to parse out. Vagayev is a slight favorite here, and he's probably the favorite rightfully. His hands look a little bit cleaner boxer. Has shown occasionally the chin issue. I just don't know if Isgakmayev has the power to put him out and make him pay. I don't think there's any wrestling for these EV Russians here. I think there's no wrestling in this fight whatsoever. I think if wrestling comes, it's going to come from Saeed's side. We saw Saeed lose to Dalby in a fight where he gassed out pretty badly, but just Dalby does that to guys. So I understand that a little bit. But if you told me Saeed Isgakmayev won this fight, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. This is a fight I really don't know what to do in DraftKings. If I'm sprinkling anyone, it's actually probably him at that 7-3 price tag.
Yeah,
I think Vagayev at that price of 8-9, I just don't think he's valuable enough to play a little bit of. So for me, it's just sprinkling underdog. But if you ask me for official pick, it's probably just Vagayev or Vagayev.
the favorited EV here. But yeah, and DFS, the underdog price in a fight we don't know, we don't have too much tape on it. I'll take maybe a shot on the plus money EV there. It'll be a fun card. I love that it starts early, Dylan. That's it. I think no other fights, right? I think that was all that we got through.
That's it, man. That's it. And we're not gonna. And hopefully everyone makes weight, and we can get a full card here, because there's nothing worse when you're watching fights and the card goes down. But I think lately we've been pretty lucky with all these fights kind of making it to the the opening bell, and that's all I want here is just these fights to make it. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good card. If I'm staking my name to something, it's Wellington Turman first round sub. And that's a fight that everyone's picking the opposite side. And I'm hoping I can get a little bit of leverage there, because Turman at 6'4", I mean, if he wins in some spectacular fashion, I'm going to be so far above the field, because he could be in the single digit owned. We see Dulatov have the knockout power. He probably is not going to win, right? But you take these risks in DraftKings, DFS especially. So I'm going to stake my name on that and say Turman gets him out of there with the first round sub.
Interesting. Yeah. I guess my long shot call would be Mike Davis split decision or Mike Davis by decision. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Mike Davis is, dude, the line is actually wrong. Like if it was, if it wasn't the UFC, it would be mumuch closer. And Mike Davis, if he had a better performance against Fariz, but we just saw him on his back. And that's the biggest concern. I think that's the reason the line is so wide is, Aliev in this fight, he's going to wrestle, and once he gets a hold of you, it's an absolute problem, right? So that's the issue, right? Because if he puts Mike Davis on his back and he can't get up, the fight's pretty much over, right? It's not like he's going to finish him. It's just going to be one-way traffic on the ground. So you absolutely need him to be confident on the feet and keep this fight upright. So yeah, 100% Mike Davis has a chance, but the fight has to stay standing. Yeah,
agreed. And Mike Davis is, dude, I love a guy that comes in. He's always going to come in great shape too. And he's good. He's a dog too. I mean, he's getting older, so that's a concern, but yeah, he's not too old yet. I think he's got some gas left in him. Cool, man. Let's see if we can win something this weekend. How's golf shaking out? How the boys playing?
It's going, man. We'll see. We'll see if we have a sweat come Sunday.
How's Cole doing? How's Van Cole's doing?
1 under.
Okay, scoring.
Who is under, guys? So yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna parlay winning golf into winning MMA. We'll see if we can make some magic happen.
We'll have some best stuff, dude. There's some interesting stuff coming out of camp for NFL. We have to do something for this weekend, because I think I've done all my best ball drafts, so I'm just all right, how do I can't go back and redraft teams. There's definitely teams I don't love I drafted at this point, but we'll see how things shake out. We'll dive more into football. We're getting into the weeds here as we get into training camp and as teams get, we started seeing these new reports come out, but I'm so excited for football, dude. It's gonna be fun.
There's nothing better than MMA just coming to you once a Saturday. And like as far as the way I operate, man, when I wake up and the fights are on, like, give that to me. East Coast, 9 a.m. start time. Let's go. Just wonderful. coffee, cortisol spikes. Can't wait.
Yeah, people are shitting on Paramount, but like, I like the pacing of the fights. Like, it was so when these pay-per-views where it's like they're starting the main events like 12, dude. It's like I got kids. I got to go to sleep. Like, I can't watch fights now. I can watch all the fights. Like, I mean, even these like big cards, I'm able to watch, which is fun. And honestly, like, it's just better. Like, it pays to watch the fights in UFC too, because sometimes you're like, if you don't know much about the guys and you watch them fight, you're like, oh, actually, like, yeah, you bookmark guys. Solo's a guy you talked about, but like Mike Davis is another guy. Like, people that don't watch it are casually doing it, and like they don't know who Mike Davis is, may just click Ankalaev, but we know who Mike Davis is. We've watched a lot of his fights, even outside the Zaid.
And sometimes it does more harm than good, because you see a guy you like and he just consistently loses. I do that all the time.
Drew Dober is one of my guys there. Like, not consistently loses. He's just a fun fighter, and I love him in DFS. My man's guy.
If you guys never watched, Drew Dober versus Brad Riddell, one of my favorite fights of all time. Brad Riddell was a dog. Like, Brad Riddell in that fight is one of my favorite fights. I go back and watch it sometimes because it was such a fun fight. And Brad Riddell was an amazing kickboxer, and he was so fun to fight. He got out. He was like, you know what, I'm not good enough, and I get in the head too much. I'm out. But that was a dog fight, and that was such a fun fight. And you just like, those are fights no one talks about because it wasn't for anything. But yeah, dude, Brad Riddell, Drew Dober is up on one of my. Dude,
you got it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. That one sticks out. That's a fight I go back and rewatch when I need to get some motivation.
Yeah, and everyone talks about, people talk about like Tommy McMillan last week, but like versus Montez, and I don't like fights like that. It's just one-sided. The fun thing about these fights that are really competitive, the Drew Dober fight versus Brad Riddell especially, was like, man, there were some back and forth wars and guys just eating shots. Like, I don't love when, like, honestly, at a point in that Montez Tommy McMillan fight, like, I was just like, end it. Like, just end it. Like, ref, stop it. Like, that guy's just a punching bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He landed a sick knee. Montez landed a sick knee and clipped him, but McMillan had too much dog in him. So I get it. But yeah, listen, good luck in this card. We'll be back to break down future UFC cards. And, once again, we play many sports. So I'm playing mostly UFC from a DFS angle. So I'm not going to go too far back. And I told Taylor this too. I mostly want to look at the past 2 fights. And that's when I'm watching tape, I'm not watching their whole regional scene. I'm watching what they've done in the most recent fights, because guys change. What we think is we assume these guys are static fighters. Like, oh, who he was 2 years ago is who he is now. And that's just couldn't be further from the truth, right? Yeah. Guys have chin issues, and that's fine, but their skills are going to develop. So just take that into consideration. We're like, oh, this guy completely changed his game plan. Yeah, he's a different fighter than he was 2 years ago. So you gotta find where the ball is going to be, not where it's been. So good luck. Good luck, Taylor. I'm going to be in the winning streets. Tournament first round sub.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how things shake out. Thanks for jumping on, Dylan. We'll be in touch though. Good luck, folks. Yeah. Hopefully someone that's watching, one of you few folks wins it. If it's not us. So all right, we'll be back breaking down some baseball definitely tomorrow, and we'll do some football this weekend. Well, thanks for jumping on, Dylan. Good luck and goodbye.